Well, hello guys. What are you doing, Speedy? Spooky? Spooky, you doing okay now? You're all better, aren't you? Yes, you are. Hey, there's Cleo. She made an appearance too. I got all three of them. My kitty crew. My outdoor bestest buddies. Here at my feet. So yeah, life is good. In my neighborhood. And yeah, it's somewhat overcast. The sun's still out, but you can barely see it in the sky. We got a light breeze, and it's rather cool. It's a wonderful day in my neighborhood. Cleo, Cleo. You Papa's girl? You Papa's girl? You are. Spooky. You doing fine, aren't you? You're doing real good. Proud of you. You're able to walk on your foot again. That's wonderful news. I think it's a miracle. Yes, it is. Oh, hello there, friends and family. Always good to see you again. I see you walked up while I was petting the kitties. You know, like I said, everything's all right here. And as many of you know, today was the day we had our first appointment. This is a consultation with my radiation oncologist to treat my prostate cancer. And we had that at 1 o'clock today. We went down, wasn't too long. We had a lot of paperwork to fill out. You know, all that medical history, all your personal information, what have you. And then I was escorted back to an examination room. And it wasn't but a few minutes later, and he came in. And he's a very personable guy. Very cordial, very nice. And I probably spent more time with this physician than I have in the whole sum total visits with my urologist. I was there for 58 minutes in the examination room where he answered all my questions. We went over the pathological lab results. He already knew them. He knew them as well as I did, and I've read them many times. So before he even saw me, he was up to speed. And we went through based on, and this is what you got to understand, everybody's cancer is a little different. It's not all the same. How big the tumor is, what type of tumor it is, how much the prostate is involved. And like I've told you in the past, only 10% of mine is involved, which is a good thing, rather small. So based on going over all the pathological lab results and that, he started going over the different treatment options. Now the first one he brought up was a 28-day treatment, course of treatment, where smaller doses of radiation are given each day for 28 consecutive days. I asked him about shorter treatments. And he said, well, he could drop that back to 20, and he's done that with the same results as the 28-day. It's just higher doses of radiation. And the only thing he said was, you know, the side effect is more rectal bleeding. And that's one thing to understand when you're giving radiation treatment down in the prostate. In the other areas involved, there can be some rectal bleeding involved with this. So the stronger the dosage is, the more rectal bleeding there is. But I've been doing some reading about a newer treatment, course of treatment, that only involved 5 days. And he said he was quite aware of that. It's fairly new, and a lot of the universities and clinics and what have you have been jumping in on that. And he's actually done it there too. And this particular course of action is much stronger doses of radiation are applied directly to the tumor over a course of 5 days. But he said there's some drawbacks to that, and that's increased rectal bleeding, and also could be some GI complications too, bleeding in your GI tract. But he said here recently they've come up with something to minimize that. And it's a type of, I think he called it and don't quote me on this, beryllium gel that's actually injected in between the prostate and the rectum and GI tract. And what this does is absorbs the radiation during the treatments and minimizes bleeding. And he says that's been quite successful. And he's done it ×2 right there. So I asked him, based on all of this, are the results similar or nearly the same? And he said in his opinion they are. So yeah, I've got a life, I got the kitty crew, I got the property. So of course, if indeed all the results from the 3 different treatment plans are similar, if my insurance, i.e. Medicare, will cover it, I'd like to try the shortest course of action possible. So he said what he would do is present the courses of treatment to Medicare and see what the cost would be and what they would approve. And then on my next visit, he should have all that information and we can go over that, pick the one that is available and start from there. And this is not going to start immediately. My next appointment with him, the radiation oncologist, is 6 weeks from now. And you might think, wow, that's rather long. What's taking so long? Well, what he said was they like to wait till after the hormone therapy is started. Remember, I've got the hormone therapy starting on the 4th. And what the hormone therapy does is help shrink the tumor. Therefore, less radiation has to be applied to a lot smaller area, and that's why they go ahead and do radiation anywhere from 6 weeks to 2 months after hormone therapy starts. And I was aware of all that too in the reading that I've done. So, and this is all based on my specific prostate cancer, how much of the gland was involved. Like I said, that was 10%. What my Gleason score was, one sample was a 3, the second sample was a 4. So it was a total of 7, which puts, in what he explained, in anywhere from the favorable to slightly unfavorable category, or in other words, the slow to moderate growth rate. And he confirmed. So I was quite pleased with him. And we're going to see how it goes. I still don't know what the cost is going to be, my cost. We got to see what Medicare will cover. And then we'll have to go from there. Now, I do know 1 or 2 have brought up starting a fund or whatever to cover my costs. I really do appreciate that thought and want to thank them for that, but I'm not at that point right now to wanting to start a fund or ask for anything from any of you. I don't even know if that'll be necessary. I do have some funds set aside. It ain't much. I have a small account that I keep for medical costs. And we just got to see, based on what they tell me, what I can cover and what I cannot. And of course, they went through, based on my income level, there's a possibility, if funds are available, you can also get help that way. And I filled out paperwork for all that today, so they can have all that information available when we start talking about which treatment plan is selected, what the costs are, what I can pay, and what I cannot. So overall, I think the visit went really well. And we're on to the next step. And like all things in life, they all start with the first step, which was way back last year. And we just keep taking them as we head down the path. Life's a journey. It starts with 1 step. And as long as we're making the steps and going forward, in my mind, I think it'll be just fine. So yeah, I wanted to give you a quick update. because I know y'all would be wondering and want to know. And of course, I know you'd want to know about spooky, if nothing else. And yeah, you know, like I said, it was like a miracle. I got up Tuesday because the vet was closed on Monday. I sort of hated that. And I came out first thing, called Spooky and the kitty crew to give him a few morning treats, see how he was doing, check him out. And it took a while, but here he come walking down the walkway. Walking, not hopping. I was shocked. Now, yeah, he's still a little slow, but he was putting weight on it and walking normally. He didn't even have a limp. And just the day before, he was still hopping around on 3 of his legs and wouldn't put a bit of weight on his right foot or leg. You know, the night before, I talked heavily to God about many things, and one of them was spooky. And I asked God if he had the time, and if he could, and he thought it was right, if he could help Spooky, I'd be real thankful and appreciative. And I loved him if he could, and I'd love him if he wouldn't. Because all things, he knows best what he should do. So I look at it as a miracle for Spooky. Because that next morning, he didn't even have a limp. Now he's slow. But that's okay. I mean, he comes prancing up the steps now when it's treat time and meal time. Oh, he's not ready to run any races yet, of course. I'm not ready to run any either. So I guess we're both in the same shape. But hey, not a long video today. Just a quick update. And it's starting to get late. And since I have been out and about all day and that, I'm thinking about running and grabbing a little food. Maybe some Chinese. If you want to come along, yeah, I'll jump in the car. Now, we'll have to split the check, okay? But hey, y'all take care out there. Stay safe. Do the best you can with what you got. May God bless all of you as you bless those in your lives. You know we love you, and we're always glad you stopped by. So until I and the kitty crew, you know, Beauty Spooky, Cleo, Little Gracie, the princess of the house, sometimes Heathcliff and Fluffy Muffin too. See you on the next episode of Mr. Tom's Neighborhood. Goodbye for now. Yep, I get that outro all messed up, don't I, Spooky? I know, you were saying I was fumbling. Yeah, sometimes it's hard for Papa to talk and think. It's been a stressful day. But I feel better about it, don't you? You looked over the lab results? You're feeling positive? Hey, I'll take your word for it anytime, Spooky. You say it's going to be okay? I know it's a fact. Later on.